Adrian is intent on filming a video diary / independent film to persuade Oscar winner Anne Hathaway to travel to Romania and star in a film shot entirely within his own home. Uncomfortably passionate about the actress, having seen all her films, he is adamant that she is the perfect actress due to her performance as Catwoman in The Dark Knight Rises, uniting his obsession for cats and women. In his attempt to persuade the actress to star in his supposed film, Adrian hires 3 actresses with vague resemblances towards Anne Hathaway, placing them under excruciatingly stressful directing briefs and situations until he abducts them, killing them to prove his obsession over Anne Hathaway and the purity of acting to die while in character is genuine. This is Adrian Țofei's highly meta, found footage independent horror film Be My Cat, a film for Anne, reminiscent of the blurring boundaries between fiction and reality within the cult dark comedy mockumentary Man Bites Dog. Be My Cat, a film for Anne, is intent on disturbing the viewer with the authenticity of Adrian's performance as a fan heavily inspired by his parasocial relationship towards a Hollywood actress formed by simply watching her movies, reflecting genuine fears regarding male violence towards women, male entitlement, stalking, consent, and unreasonable obsession. By doing this effectively, Adrian Țofei's Be My Cat, a film for Anne, manages to brilliantly blur the barrier between fiction and reality. To what extent is this film staged? Who exactly is acting, and who is a genuine bystander? By blurring this boundary, Be My Cat intelligently removes any possible solace in the classic adage viewers use to comfort themselves during horror movies. It's only a movie, all before the violence even begins. Adrian Țofei's Be My Cat, a film for Anne, blurs fiction and reality with such uncomfortable ease it can be often forgotten that what we are viewing as a narrative film. Adrian Țofei's performance as a fan/stalker who shares his own real-life name is truly convincing, his level of obsession and self-rationalization for his own disturbing actions feeling reminiscent of the video diaries of Ricardo Lopez, often commonly referred to as the Björk stalker, a young man who was dangerously possessive of the Icelandic singer that he sent a letter bomb to her due to his jealousy regarding Björk's romantic relationship with musician Goldie before recording his own suicide. Within Be My Cat, a film for Anne, Adrian Țofei's performance convinces us that his protagonist is capable of similarly damaging actions, lending an additional layer of authenticity to his role. Figures such as this film's protagonist have existed before and will continue to exist afterwards. Further reinforcing the film's discomforting authenticity are scenes where Adrian distresses an actress so much she calls the police, only for the police to actually arrive and take down Adrian's details. A brief discussion with an imagined Anne Hathaway via talking to the camera, addressing the drunken people heard in the background who are not part of the film, and even a brief moment during a torture scene when 2 residents investigate the screams, only for Adrian to reassure the men that this is all part of a movie, which in reality it is. It is impossible as a viewer not to question to what extent is this film staged. Of course, Be My Cat, a film for Anne is fiction, with actors playing actors, but due to the film's realism, it can be all too easy to forget that. Be My Cat, a film for Anne addresses a very genuine concern regarding parasocial relationships, a one-sided relationship where an individual extends emotional energy towards a figure who is completely unaware of their existence. The protagonist of Be My Cat, a film for Anne has developed a parasocial relationship with Anne Hathaway due to his mentally conceived connection between her from her performances, having convinced himself to be the only individual who understands her as an actor and as a woman. This parasocial relationship reflects a sense of male entitlement that suggests the character and Anne were made for one another despite having no connection based within reality. The character specifically expresses plans to have Anne Hathaway to eventually move into his home with him after he kills his own mother, also reflecting the character's own sheltered worldview. This fictitious Adrian states he hasn't stepped a foot out of his hometown and that he doesn't like people, having felt pushed into a self-isolation due to being a victim of bullying. While this element of trauma does not excuse the character's actions of abduction and murder, it does reflect an extreme example of an individual's reliance on parasocial relationships, similarly to Ricardo Lopez and his own conceived notion that he felt connected to Björk. Be My Cat, A Film for Anne cleverly dissects this reliance on the parasocial for an audience that is so heavily connected with popular figures, either via social media, YouTube, or the broadcast media we consume. These actors, actresses, presenters, commentators, and other popular figures are not people we know personally, and are deserving of their own privacy. To overstep that boundary due to an internally developed misconception of connection can unfortunately become a basis for stalking. In this way, Be My Cat, A Film for Anne is almost a cautionary tale to distance ourselves, to remind ourselves that the fiction we consume is simply fiction, even when, in the case of Be My Cat especially, that fiction can seem disturbingly realistic. Via the reflection of the consequences of parasocial relationships that become mental possessions that torments a popular figure, Be My Cat, A Film for Anne also cleverly reflects very real fears that women hold regarding male violence, inappropriate chastisement, stalking, abduction, possession, torture and murder. Most women will have their own experiences reflecting these fears, walking home quicker with their house keys wrapped around their knuckles, walking home in a larger group, sending a quick text to tell a loved one of their last location. And Be My Cat, A Film for Anne replicates these anxieties with how Adrian behaves towards the women he berates and murders within his video diary for Anne Hathaway. This is a very real, truly uncomfortable world of delusion and harassment, crafted by Adrian Țofei on an admirably small budget, mirroring the daily fears and anxieties of women, fears that are not relieved once the film's credits begin to roll. In conclusion, Adrian Țofei's Be My Cat, A Film for Anne is a terrifying found-footage horror film, less for its violent content, but more due to its sense of authenticity and realism in depicting the fears women have regarding male violence, stalking, abduction, and murder, a self-aware and meta-exploration of exploitation and parasocial relationship dependency. Adrian Țofei's film proves to be a brilliantly underrated contribution to the vast landscape of found-footage horror, commenting on our over-reliant connections to media and to the consequences of such connections. Thoroughly clever and dripping in commentary, Be My Cat, A Film for Anne is certainly worth seeking out. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporter Gil, and my super tier Patreon supporters Konstantin Bombelli and Victoria.